I'll be covering some Danganronpa 2 spoilers in this video. At first I really disliked Izuru, but more recently I've been able to relate to his character. During lockdown last year, I found my hobbies less and less interesting. I started to find that the majority of the things I used to find fun became, as Izuru would put it, boring. I got to a point where I felt like if I didn't have my faith and if I didn't know that people loved and cared about me, I wouldn't even be getting out of bed. I also realized that whilst Izuru didn't have faith like me, he also didn't have loved ones like me. And anyone that loved him would have loved him in a superficial way, the way people love celebrities, and that can't sustain someone. On top of that, Izuru didn't have ambition either, and anything that he could have dreamt for would have came so easily for him that it wouldn't have been fulfilling to achieve it. And without love, faith, or ambition, the only thing people can really see in their future is entertaining their boredom until they die. And unfortunately, Izuru couldn't even do that. What's worse, he was forced to live again after being freed from a life he found no fulfillment in. And because he stopped valuing his life, he stopped valuing everybody else's, and he stopped caring about progressing humanity and helping others. Life no longer had any color or meaning to him. And I feel that downfall to him is where all his depth comes from. And I feel now that it's actually really meaningful. Whilst before I thought he was just some nothing villain, I started to understand where he was coming from. Thankfully for me, I was able to get out of these feelings because I started to change up my routine and I started to watch Slice of Life starring with K-On! And that really helped me because it broke me out of my regular action-adventure interests. And that broadened my horizons. Unfortunately for Izuru, since he's so critical of everything, a simple genre change wouldn't have been enough. I feel like this also highlights how lucky we are to be flawed and to be able to enjoy things without being too critical, unlike Izuru. And I feel like that really helps us, and I'm glad to see this be reflected and to understand it now, because I never felt like I'd watched something like K-On! Before, and that was actually something that really helped me out of that melancholy and those feelings that like my life was so monotonous, because I tried something new. And I encourage you to also like try to expand yourself, because like that's actually the really dark and really real feelings that you can get, and it's good to break out of them, and it helps when you start to change things up, whether it be like watching something you wouldn't normally watch, or maybe playing more sport if you're normally indoors. It helps. For me, this video is actually an attempt for me to expand myself, and I'd actually really love to hear what you think about it, because this is my first time trying to do one of these, and I'd be really grateful if you dropped a comment telling me what you liked about the video or what else you'd like to see. At the moment, I also have planned one where I talk about the meta of Maki's character from Danganronpa V3, and I also hope to do one about Celeste from Danganronpa 1, going over how her talent affected her. And I'd also love to hear what other videos you'd like me to try, and I'd just be glad to hear your feedback.